Myer, why are you so interested in the Montefiore Hebrew Orphans Home?
Well, it's not about being interested. I was in the home for 10 years, from 1926 to 1936, when the home closed. At least I heard it was going to close, so I took my little peckle, as they say, and walked up to my aunt's place and presented myself and stayed there. The kids, as we called ourselves in the home, who had no place to go, went to the westbound home, or the Montreal Hebrew Orphans Home, as its original name is. They went there until they closed in 1942. Now, our home closed in 36, and for about 20 years, nothing was done. There was little get-togethers, but not any reunions. And in 1956 or 7, when Max Matt, our supervisor, came back from Hartford for a visit, someone said, let's have a reunion. So Ruth Lutsky, the wife of one of the orphans, and myself got together, and we worked for 6 months to accumulate names and where they were, and our first reunion had 100 people. And we had consequently 3 other reunions. I think one was at the Ritz-Carlton, and one was at the Montreal Hotel. Another one was, I forget the name of the place. However, we had these 4 reunions, and everybody went their ways for years and years and years until in Toronto, where I moved in 1969, there was children or brothers and sisters from both homes, and we were friends, and we used to get together every month or so, have a breakfast or a brunch, and someone said, let's have a reunion. Well, it wasn't feasible to have a Montefiore reunion or a westbound home reunion. We had to have a combined reunion. So in 1988, we talked about it and got all our names together. And in 1989, we had our first combined reunion in Toronto where we had 100 people. Judy does the newsletter called the Mishpacha for the reunion. We do that 4 times a year to keep everybody in touch. And subsequently, we've had 12 reunions till this year on June the 30th in Montreal. We've had 3 of those in Toronto.
Were the children in these homes orphans from the war?
No. Our kids came in from as early as 1922 that I know of. I went in 1926. We were not orphans without parents. In fact, some children in the home had 2 parents, but in those days there was no welfare and there was no babysitting and nothing like that. So they had to go to work and put their children somewhere for, in many cases, a temporary, a year, 2, 3. But there was many of us who only had 1 parent, and that parent worked, so they had to sort of stopgap things. Some kids went out in 2 years, 3 years. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in a way, I was there 10 years. There's no harm done. It was a very good upbringing, and learned a lot of respect for elders, and that's about it.
What kind of memories do you have from your time at the orphan home?
Well, I don't remember a lot of things. Many of us get together and we discuss, do you remember? And though I remember a few things from every summer we went to a summer camp for 2 months, Saint Jerome, Lac Brûlé, Saint Agathe, Saint Margaret. I still keep in touch with many of the people we had 3 groups. And what happened was the third group would be a big brother to someone in a second group, and the second group would have someone in the third group. So we had big brothers all along the way. The upbringing was good. We had never abused it any which way. We still get together and talk about it at all our reunions, and even not reunions. We get together for lunch or just for coffee and talk about the old days. I remember that everything was good as far as I was concerned.
What do you gain out of these reunions, seeing your old cronies from many years ago?
Well, it's a very emotional thing. In fact, that's where I am right now. I quail when I talk about it because this was my life. I mean, and it still is my life. We as a team, we don't work individually. Judy and I work together. Judy does the mishpacha, I help where I can. We get it out, we talk to people. There's a lot of fellows who are not well. I call them weekly or semi-monthly, or when I can. We follow up on a lot of the orphans, even they could be from the westbound home or our home. our trip to Montreal, we just got back actually on Tuesday, to show you, well, the friendship. We stayed at, what's his name? Lester Dick's place. And he was in a westbound home, and we became like brothers. And in the home, that's what we were, brothers and sisters.